whenever you're ready.
All right, welcome to Run Smart, Module D. So we will be talking about who is responsible for maintenance, repairs, and care. So if you're new to Run Smart, I'm just going to give you my quick little spiel of why you're here. So there are 5 classes, and when you're done with the 5 classes, you will take a quick little assessment. Don't freak out. As long as you show up, you pay attention, you'll pass. I'm not worried about that at all. Hopefully you will learn at least one thing out of these classes that you can take with you, and then you will also get a certificate. And what the certificate is it makes you stand out amongst the rest of the applicants. So if you have bad rental history or bad credit or both, it's showing like, hey, yes, I messed up in the past, but I have improved myself by taking a class, and so hopefully you can rent to me. So let's begin. Number 1, or page 1, I do want to talk about the resources. They're the same ones as Module B. I just find them very important, and I wanted you to have them, except for the last one is about lead testing. So at the end of class, I will go a little bit more in depth with that, but there's a resource for you for that. So, page 2, repairs and government regulations. So as a tenant, you have responsibilities, and as a landlord, they have responsibilities. So what landlords are responsible for, essentially, are making sure that the building is up to code and it is safe in the unit and in common areas. So what does that look like? Making sure that there is proper plumbing, there's hot water and cold water, and the sewage is operational. Your apartment should maintain at least 67 degrees. And I know in Wisconsin it gets very cold, but even with the drafts from the windows, it should maintain at least 67 degrees. They are in charge of making sure that the electrical and plumbing are in safe and operating condition. There should be no safety concerns to you or your children, so that would include broken floorboards or a stair missing where somebody could trip and fall. That is causing harm to you or your children. They also need to notify you in writing of any deductions that they are going to take from your security deposit and why. So you know where your security deposit is going. And then it is their responsibility to make repairs to the normal wear and tear. They cannot charge you for that. That is their responsibility. So when you move into a place, they should assume that it's going to look a little bit different when you move out because you are living there. You are walking on the floors. You are using the countertops, etc. And then they must maintain the equipment. So that includes the heating system, the hot water heater, air conditioning, and that includes in the unit and in common spaces as well. So, what are your responsibilities? Your responsibility includes reporting any problems or damages to the landlord as soon as they come about. Like I said previously, do it in writing, especially in email. And then, per the lease agreement, make routine repairs. So that could include changing out batteries in the smoke detectors or the carbon monoxide detectors, things like that. And then being responsible for paying for any negligence. So if your kid, punches a hole through the window, that you are paying for it because that is your responsibility. However, with the landlord responsibilities, if something is not in working order, they must disclose that to you before you sign any papers. They must disclose that, okay, the hot water heater, it's been a little funky lately and it's not really working right now. They have to tell you that before you move in or before you sign papers. Doesn't mean that they would pull the whole, well, I didn't know card, but legally they have to tell you. So, I would like you to do the card sorting activity. The volunteer will hand that out to you right now, and I'd like you to go over the answers. So these are all of the different scenarios, and then when you're done, you can unpause the video. Okay, I hope you had a wonderful time with that card sorting activity. And now we are going to talk about check-in and check-out forms. I hope all of you have done this in the past if you've rented or you know about them, So, on page 3, there is a little bit more information about check-in and check-out forms. So, what they are is it is a packet where you, as the tenant moving into a new place, you go through and you look for any damages or anything faulty in the unit. You have 7 days to get this completed after you sign the lease. So my advice to you is to go in before you put any furniture in, look at walls, anything exterior, and then wait a couple days. That's when you're really going to turn on the light switches. You're going to plug things in. You're going to, take your shower. You're going to know what's working and what is not. And then you can truly know, okay, I feel comfortable saying that, yes, everything is working. Because if you don't, then you may be responsible to pay for it when you move out. So it is very important that you are as thorough as possible. So on page 3, for an example, the refrigerator has a cracked drawer. And so in the comment section, you would describe what that looks like. So for an example, the bottom left drawer in the refrigerator has an approximately 7-inch crack in the center. It begins in the middle of the handle and travels down to the bottom of the drawer. And I know this sounds a little extra, and it kind of is. However, the landlord could say, yes, there was a crack in there, but you made it worse. You have to pay for a new one. So, taking photos is very important. Making sure that you hang on to them is also important. But being as detailed as possible so there's no room for error. Make sure that you sign it, the landlord signs it, and you both have a copy. And you should hang on to this document until you get your security deposit back after you move out. All right, speaking of documentation, so there are documents that are really important to keep and other documents that are not important to keep. So things that are important would be birth certificates, social security cards, anything legal. So if you're going through a divorce or custody situations, your lease agreement, any tax information. So I suggest that you hang on to your W-2s from the previous 3 years, because if the government wants to come back and audit you, they're going to audit you for the 3 years prior. Not very many people know that, and so hang on to all those important tax information. As far as rental records go, so on page 4 in your handout, things that would be important would be your RentSmart certificate, your lease agreement, your check-in and check-out form, any rules or policy changes that you have received in writing, any conversations written or phone recordings from your property manager or your landlord, all of your receipts for paying rent, your utilities, and your renter's insurance. So, some things that you should keep on your person, but not on you. Things that you should keep on your person and things that you should not. So, for instance, it would be good to have your state ID or driver's license always on you, your health insurance card, if you have a vehicle, your vehicle insurance card. If you have any allergies or diagnoses, that's very important. So if something were to happen, the first responders know exactly which direction they need to go to help you. Now, permanent records that are important to have, but not to have on you. So that would include your Social Security card, your birth certificates, any legal documents, your tax records, bank statements. I hear a lot of people, they have a folder that they keep all their stuff in, which is good. I'm glad you have, a system, but that system should not stay in your vehicle. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they keep it in their car, and then their car gets broken into, and all of those important documents are gone. Also, your Social Security card should not go in your wallet. It takes a split second for you to drop your wallet. Somebody takes it, you forget it at the store. That should be somewhere in a safe place. So if you don't have access to a security box at a bank, you can also buy one. I bought mine for $50 at Walmart, and it's fireproof and I think waterproof. And I just know that nobody can go in there and steal it. They'd have to steal the whole thing, and I would know at that point. So just having a system that works for you and your family is important. All right, renter's insurance. So I would like you to pause and talk about your experience with renter's insurance, if you've heard of it, if you've used it, why you have or why you haven't, and then when you're done, unpause the video. Okay, so there's a lot of misconceptions with renter's insurance. A lot of people think that it is very expensive, or you don't need it, or they're not really sure what the purpose is. So, renter's insurance protects you and only you. So that would include all of your belongings, but not the actual property. So not the walls, not the carpet. It's only your belongings. And on average, it can cost between like $5 to $12, $15 a month. And that's very reasonable if you think about it. You only can control yourself, but you don't know what your neighbors are doing. You don't know if they could cause a fire. And so that $12 a month could get you a big check to start over, so you don't have to worry about, well, crap, like I have hundreds or thousands of dollars of my stuff and it's gone and I don't have the money to replace it. It also can protect against theft. That is the number one claim for renter's insurance. So if you are living in a higher theft rate area, you're probably going to pay a little bit more. If you have a vehicle and it's parked at your apartment or your rental unit, anything that happens to your vehicle would also be covered. And not very many people know that. And it also protects against like if somebody gets hurt and they're trying to sue you, up to a certain amount of liability insurance as well. I strongly suggest that you look into it shop around, call, just consider it for when you find your place. So there's a little bit more information about renter's insurance. All right, so caring for your living space. If you don't care for it, aka you don't clean up or you are not taking care of it, it will increase your chance of sickness and injury. It will increase wear and tear to the rental unit, which in return would increase your deductions from your security deposit. Your moving out cleaning will be much harder. It will increase chances of fire and could be grounds for eviction. So sometimes people think, well, I'm not gross, I just have a lot of stuff. That also could be grounds for eviction too, is the clutter. Or vice versa. I don't have a lot of stuff, I just don't like to deep clean. That could be grounds for eviction as well. So on page 5 in your packet, I would like you to brainstorm what is the task that you excel at. Like, you are really good at mopping those floors, or that's the one thing you enjoy the most. I'd like you to write it down. So when everyone's done, you can unpause the video. Okay, so now I'd like you to fill out the next part, which is the one task that you struggle with. It could either be you have not found the solution to an easy cleaning, or you just dread that activity. So for me, I have a couple. I hate scrubbing the shower. It is not fun. And I really dislike putting away laundry. Those are my two things that I could not care less about. And so what I'm hoping is that there's going to be some overlap where somebody is going to say, oh, I hate doing dishes. And another person next to you or across from you is going to say, I'm really good at doing dishes and I found a really good solution or a really good routine. So I'd like to open this up for discussion of your strengths, your weaknesses, any tips and tricks. You know, if you have that one cleaning solution that you're like, oh, this is a godsend, please share it with the class. We want to all know. So when you're done, you can unpause this video. All right. So the last part is what helps you clean on a regular basis. So some people, they have a system where, all right, Mondays, I mop floors. Tuesdays, I dust. Wednesdays, I do something else. I can't think of another thing off the top of my head. Well, other people, as for me, I like to just do it all in one day. I like to do it on like a Saturday or Sunday and just knock out all of those tasks, because when I come home from work, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. But some people, everyone is different, and that is okay. So, I would like you to grab your phones real quick, and I'm going to do it with you in real time, and go over this QR code. So what you're going to do is open up your camera and hover over the QR code and tap on the link. It's going to bring you to cleaninginstitute.org. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of got sucked into it. I got really excited, and I know not everyone is going to, but so let's see. Let's go scroll to what we clean, and let's do surfaces. Click on surfaces. So they're going to have a whole list of things, like a guide, a fact sheet, windows, mirrors, and you get lost in this website. You just keep clicking, and they keep having more and more suggestions and fun things. So I want you to have this resource. And something that I do want to discuss is, so we are on page 6 and 7 of your packet, is some of you know how to clean. You have a system, you have grown up, mom, dad, whoever taught you how to clean, and you know. Well, other people, they were never taught how to clean properly, or they don't understand the importance of it. And so everyone is coming in here with a different story, and that's okay. So I just want to share that there are resources for you to figure out questions. Like, I'm 24 years old, and I still sometimes I'm like, how am I going to get this off of my clothes? Or, oops, I ruined a surface. A couple months ago, I scratched my oven really, really bad because I used an abrasive scrubby. We're all learning. So this is a really great website if you have any questions. Also, on page 6, there's just some tips and tricks of common facts that we should all know. But if not, then you're learning, and that's wonderful. The last thing I want to talk about cleaning is delegating. So it's really easy to think, oh gosh, okay, I have to mop the floors, I have to do the laundry, I have to do the dishes, I have to clean, I have to do this, this, and this. You have children. You all have children. You're staying at the Freedom House. I know that for a fact. Kids can start helping you at the age of 2, 2.5. That could be, putting silverware in the dishwasher, or bringing their plate to the sink, or throwing things in the garbage. So I would like you to fill out page 7, but I also want you to delegate tasks. This should not all be on you. It should not all be on the children either, but it should just be everyone working together. So on page 7, I would like you to fill out what are some things that you like to do or should do daily out of all of those on the top. So for instance, for me, I'd like to do tidying up. I like to put things away every day before I go to bed because I don't like to wake up to a dirty house, and do the dishes every day. Where some of you guys, you have to sweep every day because you've got little ones or X, Y, and Z. So when you're done filling this out, I'd like you to discuss with your peers or people across from you about your schedule. And then when you're done, unpause this video. All right. What bug is that? So this is a bed bug, and I hope none of you have any history with it. However, I'm sure there's at least one person that has, and that's okay. A misconception is that bed bugs are, only gross people have them. However, that is not the case. You can pick them up so easily, unfortunately. And so on page 8, there are some facts, there's some information that you can learn about bed bugs. So a couple of things is you can identify them with your naked eye. Some people think you can't see them. Yes, you can. Some way to prevent them is to just check over any used furniture that you're bringing in your house. Check beds at the hotels that you are staying at. Just be vigilant that this can come home with you. And if it does, you can get rid of them. All right, page 9. Yours looks a little bit differently, and that's okay. But I would like to go over roaches. Roaches are becoming more and more common in Green Bay. And just like I said earlier about bed bugs, just because somebody has them doesn't mean they're gross. If your neighbor has them and you're living in an apartment, you are probably going to have them. Just because your apartment is clean doesn't mean they're going to come in and be like, oh, this is clean, let me move on to the next person. But just making sure that you take out your garbage regularly. You're, cleaning up your dishes. You're not leaving anything out that they're going to be attracted to. And what I like about this curriculum is under Start with Prevention, it says don't feed the roaches, so don't make them their own plate, don't welcome them to the table. And unfortunately, the whole unit, the whole property has to be on the same page with getting rid of them. Otherwise, you're not going to get rid of them. So, and I hope you don't have this problem, but it does occur. Lastly, before we end class, is lead paint. So if you go under the NeighborWorks website, under lead testing, they offer it for free. So all you have to do is fill out a form. They will come to your property. It'll take 30 to 60 minutes, and you will have results within 24 hours. And so the only reason that you would need to do lead testing if you have little ones running around, if you're pregnant and there's loose paint, or if you're chewing on walls. So if your apartment or your rental unit is older than 1978, I strongly suggest just having it tested just so you know. Then you know, okay, I'm not going to allow my baby to be chewing on the windowsills or X, Y, and Z. And it's free, so you can't go wrong with free. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your case manager or another staff member, and we'd be happy to help you. If not, have a wonderful day.